Alright, boom, boom, boom. On to cassette video number 2. If you haven't seen part 1, it's in the description. And we'll just get right into it with Bright Eyes, Digital Ash in a Digital Urn. I think that's what this is called. The other Bright Eyes album I own, and the other one I've heard the most. This saw them taking like a more electronic direction. It's got this kind of translucent blue. Yeah, you can see that. That's cool. Not as good as Lifted, but I still enjoyed a lot. There's plenty of great songs here, and I kind of wish they would have kept up in this direction, this kind of almost indie-tronica direction, I guess. I would have liked to see more of it because it's certainly, there's like some really interesting drum sounds on here, like Goldmine Gutted has this really just echoey drum that I love to death. Interior packaging, it's alright. Notably on this cover, don't think you can see the boy looking into the toilet. I think you can only see the B. And if you look very closely, like if the light hits this in just the right way, you can see the words, you can see the name of the band, Bright Eyes, above the album title. But that's a really cool little detail about this. Other than that, good. It's good. Listen to it. Next thing, Dire Straits, Brother in Arms. An album I have up here, not because I've listened to it, but because I intend to. And the pressure pad on this is, the adhesive that's holding this in has worn out, and I need to like fix this, and I'm keeping this up here to remind myself to do that. And my dad's initials are actually carved into this tape, which I think is really interesting because that just shows the saturation of this album and how popular, like how many of these were floating around, because this was a ridiculously popular album. And this is a nice little kind of lyrics sheet. And notably, there's some extended versions of 4 songs. So Far Away, Money for Nothing, Your Latest Trick, and Why Worry have extended versions on this. And what I find funny about this is that it gets dropped. No, that's not what I find funny, but basically this has a little note. It says, this, I probably can't read that, but it says right here, like, this cassette features extended versions of 4 songs. Blank tape at end of side 2 is necessary to duplicate sequence of LP. Like, thanks. I knew that. I know that's how cassette tapes work. It's a weird thing that I'm making a big deal out of. Next thing, this is my most recent one. I bought this like yesterday for Halloween's self-titled. Obviously gave this a very positive review on the podcast. I enjoy this a lot. This tape sounds really nice. It's like this weirdo kind of nuclear yellow kind of color. Shit, photo. I don't want to open photos. Also, you know, see-through. Yeah, it sounds really good. It's a very long album. They don't have the bonus tracks, but you also get a fuller cover image here. And, you know, a fun little band photo. And there are some, like, red stains on this, which I don't know what those are. I wonder if this is like a Kiss comic book scenario where that's like the band member's blood or something. Look that story up if you don't know it. That's a weird thing. But yeah, not much to be said about this. If you want to know my thoughts on it, watch the review. Now on to my eyes for Iron Maiden, Number of the Beast, another really early cassette tape album. I've listened to this a bunch. A lot of just really, really fun songs on here that kind of define their this is almost their proto progressive metal stuff, where they're still kind of more power metal and heavy metal than progressive metal, but it's really fun. You all know this album. I don't really need to talk about it. Pretty basic packaging. Nothing too special. It's just rather good. These next two are also Maiden, but I don't have the jackets for them. I just have the cases. So this is Power Slave. Let me see if I can focus in on that. And yeah, I can kind of see that. Whatever. It's Iron Maiden, Power Slave. It's Power Slave. It's a classic progressive metal album. Makes a lot of sense why I listened to this, like why my music taste is the way it is, because I would listen to this a ton. This album is crazy. Like, I remember just being enamored by, like, Rime of the Ancient Mariner and Power Slave, the title track, and just how, and like Back in the Village too. The whole two side on here is crazy, crazy stuff. In my young years, my like 16-year-old years, just had my mind blown by this album. This is just crazy. If you're into progressive metal and haven't heard this, what are you doing? Next thing, this. Guess which one this is. Which Iron Maiden album this is. If you guessed No Prayer for the Dying, you're wrong. It's Somewhere in Time. Their other kind of, one of their other big progressive metal albums. Gosh, this has so many great songs. I have not heard this album in a while, but this was also like foundational in making my taste in music. Like Caught Somewhere in Time, Wasted Years, Loneliness of the Long Distance Runners, Stranger in a Strange Land. Like, just so many classic, really exciting songs. I love this album so much. Foundational to my taste. Once again, if you haven't heard this, why not? It's really, really good. Next thing. No Prayer for the Dying by Iron Maiden. I haven't actually heard this. This is just something I kind of have up in my room because my dad owns it and I want to get to it at some point. What's interesting though about the packaging here is this has two little holes. They're for the, prongs to go through so it doesn't damage the back, which the Bjork album doesn't have these, and it annoys me because it just tears up the back of this. So if you're making a cassette, do this, and like if you want to have full, artwork, do that. Little photo of the band, really nice. What the hell? Oh, there's a song on here called Fate's Warning. That's weird. That's another progressive metal band. That's why that's funny to me. It's not funny, but it's just a weird thing. Yeah, so I'll listen to this at some point. I know it's like not well regarded, but whatever. And that's gonna be this video. Next time we'll be starting with the J's.